I'm Michael LeBlanc. I am owner of Create with Consciousness, and I believe part of leadership really starts with my own ability in the moment to tell, is my heart open or not? Am I stressed out and it's starting to close off? Because what starts happening when my heart literally starts closing off and I'm not leading and living from that center, it really interrupts my ability to think better, to make decisions, and more importantly, it really hinders my ability to truly connect and relate with others. So at Create with Consciousness, one of our goals is created a brief meditative practice using your breath and your focus on your heart center as a way to interrupt stress, keep your heart open, return to center. And there's tons of research that shows as your heart becomes more coherent, your intelligence improves, your decision-making improves, but also your ability to connect is enhanced. So join me at the VIP room, and I'm going to be kind of guiding people through this process and just how to use it in your day-to-day with your eyes open. And we teach it as a meditative practice, but you could be in a meeting, you could be just noticing you're starting to get stressed because of an email you just read. You could be in line at a grocery store. And there is a way to use your breath and your focus on your heart center to interrupt that stress and bring you back to a position to lead with your heart open. Join me in the VIP.
Our next everyday leader is Ryan Blasko. Ryan has built a solid reputation based on servant leadership and has a passion and a heart for helping others succeed in business, but more importantly, in life. Ryan and his family recently moved back to Indiana and is an active member of the Granger Community Church, the Alzheimer's Association, and Junior Achievement of St. Joseph County. Watch out, Ryan's also an avid pickleball player, and he's hopeful it will someday become an Olympic sport. Let's welcome a passionate servant leader and everyday leader, Ryan Blasko. Hello, Ryan. How's your audio? Oh my gosh, Joe.
Hey, it's one of those days.
It's one of those days. Okay, we're going to get this down, I promise. Okay, you guys, this is Ryan Blasko. What an awesome leader. We have people in the green room rating. We are excited for you to be here today. Ryan is, yes.
Let's have Ryan sign out of the green room and come right back in again.
Sign out and sign back in. Okay, good. All right. So if you guys are in the chat right now on Zoom, I want you to look at the challenge questions that we have put in here for Ryan, because we're going to talk about all of these things. So Anza, if you could just put the poll out here in the Zoom room. And if you have the workbook, you can go to Ryan's page. We're going to talk about curiosity, consistency, and courage, all of these things that we want you to think about when you have to reset your mind. So asking yourself, right, is it helpful to help someone else? We want to keep you thinking about kindness and staying humble. That's what we're going to talk about here. So if you have the journal, if you have downloaded the VIP journal, get ready to take your notes on all of these things that we're going to talk about. And then at the bottom, you can ask the question. Like if I could ask Ryan a question right now, write that down and then put that in the chat as well for us so we can really help identify the things that you are needing help with today. All right, Ryan, can you hear us? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes. Okay. So Joe, we can put Ryan over here in the other room live. How's everything good?
It's great. I have Zoom pulled up so I can see the questions.
Yes.
And the sun just went down, so it may be dark in here. Can you see me okay?
Yes.
All right, great.
Perfectly. Thank you so much. First of all, I know you are a really busy guy. You have been pouring into people at medical device companies, and you are leading teams around the world. And so the influence of things that are changing in healthcare right now, especially, I know we have talked about this exclusively, how you have decided to lead people in transition, because thinking about what you want to do in your career is so important. And sometimes you just do it because your friends did it, right. I'll try that. So first of all, thanks for joining. You're from Indiana today.
Yes. Yeah, I actually moved to Indianapolis recently.
Yay! We're so
Yeah.
excited. All these Hoosiers, right? I put this together and I thought, oh my gosh, it is really Indiana influenced.
That's right.
But what's important, I think, for you, and this is why I really wanted you to share your heart today, because people that are looking to start something new, whether they're a graduate, whether they're in college, whether they have been downsized in their company right now, they may say, I don't know what kind of a skill set a leader looks like to be able to step into something that I'm unfamiliar with. So could you talk to us a little bit about how you really guide people in that direction?
Yeah, absolutely, Melanie. And again, thank you for having me. This has been really cool to see Gary Brackett talk, and then all the leaders you have on here. I see John Eads is coming up next, and I follow him on social. So it's a really cool thing that you've put together. But for me, it starts with identity, right? And we talk about this a lot. It was brought up earlier by some of your other speakers. Your identity is so important, right? And too many of us tie our identity to our careers. And so I always start with somebody, if it's a kid graduating high school or college and they're looking to enter the workforce for the first time, or it's somebody mid-career that is looking to transition. We always talk about your job is what you do. It's not who you are, right? And so I've taken over a lot of teams over the years on the sales side of things, both industrial sales when I started with the Cintas Corporation years ago, and then in medical device sales. And you always have to start with the person and talk to them about, what's important to them and why their identity shouldn't be tied up in their career. Because if they stay true to themselves, then everything else will blossom, right? And so that's my job as a leader, is to just listen to what are your concerns, what are your fears, and teach them how to stay and humble. And that's something that I put in the workbook that you asked us to fill out. It's there's two types of people, right, in the world. You have people that are very grateful, right? Have to have gratitude. And then you have people that over time, and I'm guilty of this myself, you become entitled. And when you get entitled, it causes complacency. And when I look back at my life and when I look at other leaders that I've admired over my life, they've all had those ups and downs, right? Where they go from being grateful and staying humble to maybe a little bit of the entitlement and complacency. So that's where it starts, Melanie. And then we unpack the conversation after that of, hey, your job is what you do. It's not who you are. And that's why people like you can leave a successful career in medical device and launch your own leadership academy, right? It's because you don't tie your worth to that title or status.
Gosh. Well, when I was in medical devices and I was told like, hey, we are making a transition, and I was told I had no value to the organization and got pushed out at a time when things were changing. But that was the time that I said, wait a minute, I know the skill set. I haven't just developed this personality overnight, right? I've always been like this. So I knew it wasn't about me. And so, but I think what happens is, and through COVID, a lot of decisions have been made because companies have had to make different decisions, based on whatever it is their goals are, the shareholders. And yet the conversation that happens, that delicate conversation of what is said when we have to transition people or when things are changing, we kind of take that on as that's a reflection of what we end up believing sometimes. And so I think it's really important, like you are the key to this, of helping people realize like that is not who you are. Who you are is your character. And a career, a job, people that make decisions about what you get paid to do is different, is different. And so that comes with, jealousy and bullies and all these things in the workplace that David, helps with culture development. And I think it's so critical to have you on this panel here today to speak into those people that have experienced, an unkind person and has made them believe something differently. And then they aren't challenging themselves anymore to like think about the things that are really significant about their own character that they could push to do something different in their life.
Yeah, I'll take the person that gets cut from the team any day and help them turn into the superstar they were meant to be, right? Because all people need is somebody to believe in them. And not everybody is going to believe in your mission or my mission, and that's okay. I found out a long time ago, you're not going to have 100% of the people in the world like you, and you need to be okay with that. You just have to be true to yourself, and I've said that once, and I'll keep saying it. You know what your purpose is, right? And if you stick to that purpose, you'll be fine and you'll flourish. It's when you're not authentic to yourself is when you can kind of get into trouble. So what I like to tell people is, you know, when your focus changes, your feelings will change, right? So if you focus on what you don't have, gratitude.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah. I lost your audio.
Did you lose me for a second?
Just a second. Just a second. Yes.
Okay, I saw you freeze up,
Yeah.
so I'll repeat what I said. When your focus changes, your feelings will change. Okay, so you need to focus on what you have, and then you'll have gratitude, right? Instead of focusing on what you don't have, and then you'll have, you know, all these feelings of I'm not worthy and I need to have more, and that just starts this perpetual downward spiral, right? So what I try to do when I help these younger generation, if you will, I talk to a lot of colleges and universities, and I'm part of volunteering for junior achievement and a group called Startup Moxie. Is I talk to people about, you know, what their potential is, and your potential is only limited really by your imagination. And people haven't had truth and love spoken into them in their lives a lot, right? We have coaches in sports that are kind of hard on us, and that's good, and that makes us who we are. But you have to get that encouragement at times too, right? It can't all be, you know, the hard knock life. It has to be a little bit of encouragement. And so if you're somebody that's went through some hard things in your life, and I think we all have, you have to understand that there is sunshine on the other side of that darkness, right? The darkness cannot overcome the light. And so you have to just be patient and persistent and know that if you stick with it, the good things are going to happen. That's what I loved about Gary's talk this morning is, you know, if people haven't seen, you know, Gary was doing I think like a crowdfunded movie, and I never had a chance to see the bracket movie.
It was awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. If you watch the trailer though, like you'll be ready to run through a brick wall,
Yes.
right? And so I think that's what people need is encouragement, and people remember stories, Melanie.
Yes.
And so if you tell them a story, whether it's your own or someone else's, and it resonates, that can help motivate them.
Absolutely. I love that you brought that up because Gary, gosh, being right here in Indiana, everybody needs to move to Indianapolis. First of all, it's a really cool city, but people like Gary, like when he told you that story about him being a franchise owner, right, of the restaurants and them having to make a decision to close them during COVID, that was, don't you think that really bruised his ego a little bit? Like, I really wanted to develop this and be a franchise owner and teach people how to do this. And yet he saw, like, I was a captain of a winning Super Bowl team with Peyton Manning. Yeah. I know how to do things successfully. Just because this isn't working out, I don't have to be ashamed or think that I'm a failure because I'm making a decision to shift. And that's what I want you guys to get today is everybody has been through that. And we are exhausted, like thinking about we have to wear a mask again and that we can't go on vacation. I wanted to go for our 30th anniversary to the Netherlands, which is on the 14th, but we can't because now we can't travel. Yet it's not going to destroy what we want to do, you know, in our lives because of this one significant decision. I want people to understand when you're going through a transition, and money is important, right? Money is important to all of us to survive, to pay our bills. Yet if you're not showing up authentically, you're never going to be heart-centered and happy and be able to give back to the things that we love. And so I just so appreciate you because I see your heart, and I know that you value people. And when you do that and you can help people learn how to do that at early stages in their career, that transforms organizations.
Sure. Absolutely. I have a quick story for you if we have time.
Yes.
Tell me how much time I have left because I want to respect your time.
We're good. All
right. So I was working with a young college graduate. He had went to a university here in the Indianapolis area, pretty prestigious one, went through a sales leadership entrepreneur track, and he had moved back home after he graduated. And we were having coffee, and he was telling me how he felt like a failure because he hadn't landed a job and his parents had invested all of this money in his education. And so I said, well, take me through what you're doing. Take me through the steps you've taken so far. And he said, well, I've got on LinkedIn, I've got on Indeed, I've applied to all these jobs. Nobody's calling me back. And I said, okay. I said, it's kind of like when you're in sales, right? And you make a pitch and you just sit there and you wait for the phone to ring or an email to come in. Guess what? It's not coming.
Yeah.
It's on you. You have to follow up. So this kid is outgoing and ambitious, and he's been given all these gifts. And I said, all right, all these gifts you've been given, what are you doing with them? I said, so let's think about this a little differently. You've applied to these jobs. Can you see who posted the job? Yes. Okay. Have you connected with those people on LinkedIn? Some of them. Okay. Well, let's start there. Let's connect with the people that are posting the job. Right. And then you can maybe Google the 800 number of that company and then call and ask for that person by name. I said, so that's my assignment to you. All the places you've applied, connect with the job poster or talent acquisition or whoever it is. Google the 800 number of that company, ask for the person by name, and then introduce yourself. This is Ryan Blasko. We connected on LinkedIn. I want to follow up on the resume I submitted for XYZ job. So this was on a Thursday that I spoke to him. He calls me on Monday and he says, Ryan, I did what you said. And 4 of the jobs I applied for all called me back. And I have 2 interviews this week.
Wow.
So this is a kid that had been, stagnant, if you will, and upset and frustrated. And so he tried something different. He got out of his comfort zone. He asked for help, which is key. And then he took that direction and ran with it, right? And so why was I able to share that story with him? Because I had been through a career transition of my own, and I got complacent and I got entitled. And that's why I preach to people that you have to stay humble and hungry, and that phone's not going to ring. And you've been given these gifts, and you got to go after things with all your heart and all your might, right? And so if you can impart those other things on people that are going through the same struggles, they can hopefully have the same growth that you've had. And so that's really, the one example. There's many others, obviously, but that's a recent one that I can think of with a college graduate that was looking to enter the workforce for the first time.
That is so valuable. That is so valuable. So I want to ask people, like, we have a poll that we're putting in on Zoom. And if you've been on the Zoom, Ryan, you know this. So your questions are based around this. I want people to really think about this. The heart-centered action that you're going to take if you're in any kind of transition. So when you tell that story, it's about letting your ego down, like we talked about with David, but really taking action on the things that you believe will connect you to something greater and not being afraid. I think, so many people say, well, I'm connected to them on LinkedIn, yet did you really have the opportunity to tell them a story, right? Did you really set up a virtual coffee with them? Were you really just to say, hey, let me share something of value that you may find helpful? John Eats has 230,000 followers on his newsletter. For a leader to develop committed leaders' hearts, thinking about, like, if you really said, I believe this, if you shared that with a new opportunity, a new job recruiter, right? This is what I believe. Sharing things that you see online sometimes really can bridge that gap of, let me share, maybe I can't explain it in my words, but I can share somebody else's because it's about the culture, right? So I love that. You guys are awesome today. Help me, right? Put a number 1 in the chat if you are just having the time of your life today. I love this. I write number 1. This is awesome. Are you leading with your heart? Are you leading with inspiration? Can you do this? Right. If you need help, and you are going through transition and you're a leader that needs help in transition, put a number 2 in the chat for me. We're going to get Ryan connected to you. If you have something on your heart that you need transition with in this career craziness world of COVID, this is the guy. Like, he can just get you straight, just helping, maybe give you some ideas like you just heard. Because staying humble is so important. Having a coach, having somebody to just kick you in the pants sometimes to say, you didn't see this obstacle over here, but yet I've been there. So let me help you with that. And that's what you need. So 1, are you having fun? to like help, I need Ryan to reach out to me, and we will absolutely get you guys connected, because he has done this over and over and over and over. And that's why he's here, so that he can really give some advice and offer some help for those that are struggling through this transition.
Oh, hey, Melanie, one other thing.
Yes.
Just because you and I and everybody on this call that we do these things doesn't mean we have it all figured out, right? So
exactly.
I myself have a career coach. She's right here in Indianapolis, and she's incredible. Her name's Marla Holdred. And so look Marla up if you need a good career coach. But just because you offer leadership and career coaching doesn't mean you shouldn't invest in your own development. So that's something I do, and I encourage everybody on this call to do.
Oh, yes. I love that you said that. And I love Marla. That is awesome. Yeah. I know her. Here's the thing, right? Because my coach challenged me to do this. It was, you do this for everybody else. You put these agendas together. You do these lives. When are you going to show up with the people that you believe can offer value? And so I picked a date, right? I said December 5th. It's a Sunday. I know it's a football day. I don't care, because it's replay. You can get this full replay if you get the VIP experience and you're saying, hey, I signed on here to hear Gary. And that we have all these speakers today, you guys. So we are going to move to the next segment, but I want to tell you, get the VIP experience. You will get the replay. You will get all the VIP books. You will connect to these leaders. You'll get the experience post event as well. So Ryan, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to have a live coffee with you here in Indianapolis someday soon. And I really appreciate you. So you guys take the poll in the Zoom room and let us know if you need help. And absolutely enjoyed this time together. Ryan, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, isn't this awesome? Oh my goodness, my heart is full. And I know we are time. Like I said, we were going to be on time. And then we had a little bit of a delay. The first speaker this morning